Let's get our peepers wrapped around Wednesday. 9 games. Let's preview it. Streams of the day. Fantasy basketball. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and I've just been fined $100,000 for violating the player participation policy. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and thank you. No, not thank you. No, today's episode. That's what I meant to say. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. Now, I can thank you for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free. We are available on all platforms. And also, thank you for making this the number one sports podcast network in the world. Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you. And thank you for pushing me towards 100K subs. We'll get there. I know we will, because you'll hit the sub button. And you'll get me there with the audio listens as well. But more importantly, for the subs, we're subbing on YouTube. But I want both. I want the audio and the video. We're talking Wednesday. There are 9 games on in the NBA. That is what we're going to be looking ahead to. Before I get into that, a couple of just injury update news items. Giannis groin strain. I suggested it'd probably be 2 weeks. It is 2 weeks for him and his groin issue. So, again, reluctantly, Bobby Portis and Kuzma could maybe be streamed in. You have to understand their deficiencies. Bob Portis gets no defensive stats. Kuzma has bad efficiency, and he lacks in defensive stats. I'd probably lean Kuzma over Portis, but both guys are at least useful. And then you got AJ and Gaz Trent as some three-point streamers. We also got Stephon Castle out for a couple of weeks as well, which means Devin Vassell bump stays up. De'Aaron Fox is going to have to do a ton. Their backup point guard situation is like nobody. I think McLaughlin's actually hurt at the moment as well, so is Dylan Harper. So that will help Vassell in that spot. You might even, honestly, you probably don't, but do you consider the pencil Harrison Barnes? Barnesy! Just means bits and pieces for everyone. Keldon Johnson, the horse. You got a little bit more from maybe Sohan, but they're just all going to be sort of stream level sort of guys, I think, in that spot. Obviously, Luke Cornett, must roster, with Vic Wembanyama on the sidelines. But there are a couple of those little injury updates that we just did get through. All right, so let's take a look. Let's take a look at the schedule for Wednesday. There are 9 games on. I believe that with 9 games on, you will be able to stream. I've done the work on this, I've done the data on this, and I believe that for the majority of leagues, with 9 games on, it's okay. You will not have to make start decisions, which means you likely have a spot available to stream. Hornets Pacers, Raptors Sixers, Rockets Cavs, Warriors Heat, Nuggets Pelicans, Kings Thunder, Wizards Wolves, Knicks Mavericks, Bulls Blazers is the final game of the day. Let's get into these in a little bit of extra detail. The first game that we're going to take a look at here is the Hornets and the Pacers. John Furphy is going to be out. Quentin Jackson out. I expect that Brandon Miller is out, but he is back doing work with the G League team. I think he's actually been recalled from the G League, so his return is coming soon. Trey Mann actually just got downgraded to doubtful, and Liam McNeely has been ruled out. That doesn't mean a huge amount, but it means there are guys at the back end there like Pat Connaughton who will play extra, and even someone like a KJ Simpson might have to get called up with Trey Mann out. But we know that LaMelo Ball is back in Indiana. Ben Mathurin is playing, and none of the other injured guys are considered close to a return. The next game we take a look at, we go to another one. I think, let me actually double check this. What is the timings of these games? We've got any late ones? No, we've got a just 7 p.m. Pacific is the last game. Toronto and Philadelphia is this one here. Bona out, Oubre out. I expect that Joel Embiid is out. I don't believe he's officially been ruled out, but I don't expect that he plays. Paul George should be available. And then Ochai Agbaji has missed the last couple for Toronto. I'm going to label him questionable here. One of the other early games is Houston and Cleveland. We did get some updates here on the Cleveland side. For the Houston side, Dorian Finney-Smith remains out. Darius Garland, who just only missed that game for injury management with the back-to-back. That's all he missed it for a week ago. Has not played since. Jalen Tyson's still out with a concussion as well. Absolutely no idea when these dudes are coming back, which is frustrating, but it does help bump the value continually, like your Donovan Mitchell sell high case remains higher. Sam Merrill, who's actually questionable, has streaming potential. Lonzo Ball has streaming potential. Then you might get random appearances from a Dean Wade or even a Craig Porter for those of you in deeper formats. The next game involves a team on a back-to-back. It is the Golden State Warriors. They're taking on the Miami Heat. We expect that Al Horford will not play in this game on Wednesday. Hero is out. Kuminga is out on Tuesday. I don't think he plays on Wednesday, but I'm not sure about that. But the big news, I guess, for this one is the questionable tag on Idris Bam Adebayo. And what we really want to see in this game is if Bam plays, what happens to Kel'el Ware? Because there is just I would say, overwhelming sentiment that Ware has been so good that Spoelstra has no choice but to play them together, to get Ware his 26 minutes, and for him to maintain an excellent fantasy guy. And I'm going to say, I don't believe it. Maybe he does, but the fact that Ware has had success playing at center doesn't suggest to me that Spoelstra's going to go, well, does that mean you'll definitely have success playing in the situation where I've seen you have no success? I don't think that'll happen, but I don't know. And we want to see it. We don't drop Ware yet, but we want to see, do they start him? Do they keep Pelle Larsson in there? Does Ware go back to playing only the minutes that Bam doesn't play? It is probably one of the biggest things to watch on Wednesday. If Bam does play, what on earth that means for Kel'el Ware. Because again, there are a lot of people who have Ware who are very much like, nah, he's great. No, he's there. He's good. He'll be good. He'll still do it. He can't possibly not do it. And maybe he does still do it. But I'm less than convinced that that is the way Spoelstra looks at it. Less than convinced. The next game, we're going Denver and New Orleans. Jordan Poole should still be out. We don't know about Saddiq Bey, the depressed penis, and Zion Williamson. They both missed the last game, and if Zion is out, Bey would replace him. If both of them out, well, we saw Yves Missi weirdly start, and then it was Carlo Makovic in the second half. And again, I just do not believe that Missi has any business being on fantasy rosters. We've also got to watch in this game, what are they doing with Fears and Queen? Because as soon as James Borrego's taken over, he said, hey, you guys might want to just pull back on the playing time somewhat. And that's an interesting development for a team that has no idea what they're doing. The next game is the Sacramento Kings. Speaking of a team that has no idea what they're doing, the Sacramento Kings and the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're going to lose by 50, maybe. Keegan Murray's return is coming soon. I don't think either, I think, and the Bronco as well, but I don't think either of those guys play here, so I'm preemptively labeling both Keegan Murray and Jalen Williams as out. Devin Carter, questionable. And the other one is Aaron Wiggins, questionable, who's been out for a week or two, I'd say, with a groin strain, which does help pump some of the values of some of those other guys like Isaiah Joe and AJ Mitchell and even the Hong Kong matchups, Case and Wallace. The Kings remain an absolute, just a guesswork what is going to happen. Monk, Alice, Levine, DeRozan, Sabonis, Schroeder, Westbrook. Who actually gets minutes or touches at any point? We don't know. So it's good that we're going to be able to get another game that will give us more confusing data. Sick. Love that. The next one we go to is Washington and Minnesota. Not much injury-wise here. Terrence Shannon is going to be out, and that's really all the stuff that doesn't even matter that much. That's all there is. Next game. New York Knicks and Dallas Mavericks. Still no OG Anunoby. Obviously still no Jalen Brunson. Still no Anthony Davis. The good news is, which helps us with our decision-making, is both Daniel Gafford and Dereck Lively have both been upgraded to probable. They both sat out the game on Monday, so that little spot start from Musa Cisse and those minutes from Dwight Powell aren't going to be a thing. That was a game they lost by about 50, but we'll see. Gafford is in a really interesting spot here as I look and see a bunch of injury updates that just came through. Interesting. Domantas Sabonis got ruled out. That literally just came through. Let me just have a look at this. So a bunch of injuries just all dropped at once there. That was heaps of them. I'll go through what happens. Carlo Makovic ruled out. Okay. Aaron Wiggins out. Joel Embiid doubtful. Saddiq Bey questionable. Zion Williamson questionable. Alex Sarr questionable. If Sarr is out, Bagley could be a stream. Zion questionable. Jabari Smith questionable. Paul George out. Okay. It is the first game of a back-to-back for Philadelphia. So both George and Embiid will be out on Wednesday. And Sabonis out. Very, very, very weird. The Sabonis one is very strange. So Drew Eubanks, A little bit of pressure to chew up, but not super exciting. But what it means is opportunity, because Sabonis' usage has been through the roof, right? Iron Man, by the way. His usage has been through the roof the last 2 games, so we'll see that distributed to other players. So just keep an eye on that as the Kings continue to be extraordinarily weird. The final game of the day. It is the Chicago Bulls and the Portland Trail Blazers. Scoot Henderson's going to be out. Drew Holiday, he's doubtful for this game. I don't think, well, obviously doubtful means he's not going to play. And then Trey Jones seems like he's not likely to be there, but also, like, who knows? And I also don't think that Trey Jones has really any chance of being useful with Kobe White back, and Kobe White will return in this game. He set out the last game on that back-to-back. But yeah, some interesting little developments there. And we'll come back and talk schedule stuff and stream of the day. Today's episode, though, it is brought to you by Skims. Skims makes underwear for men. You are a man, or you are a woman who has a man that they know at some point. And if you are a woman, you know about Skims. I don't need to talk to you, so you can listen, but this is a bit of secret men's business because we love undies that are comfy. Do they have to look the most exciting? Well, these do. They look good. They're sleek. They're chic. They're like brutalist in nature, not really, but they're undies. But they feel comfortable, and you want comfort. When you're out there slinging concrete, laying bricks, typing into spreadsheets, whatever it is, comfort with undies is the name of the game, and that's where Skims is here for you. Stretch material, love it. Cotton, love it. Short ones, 3 inches, cool. You want a big, long 7-incher? Well, they've got those as well. Boxers, boxer briefs. They don't lose their shape. They don't ride up, and they hit exactly where they're supposed to on your thigh. You might be working, traveling, working out, lounging. Skims is going to provide you the best comfort and support. And you can shop Skims men's now at skims.com. When you place your order, select podcast in the post-purchase survey and select our show from the drop-down to let them know that we sent you. And the Skims holiday shop is now open. So if you're looking for the perfect gift this season, Skims has you covered. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there is no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game, or you want to get in and ride the hot hand of something you see, FanDuel has live bets available on everything. From who's going to score next, fourth quarter comebacks, it is all there. And you can combine your live bets on FanDuel as well into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It makes you, it puts you on your toes. You got to think about it. You're going to have bets with mates. It's a good competition. I think this is going to happen. Let's do it in the game. Place the bet. There you go. See what the result happens as the game is rolling on. And right now, new FanDuel customers get $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So go to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And don't forget to gamble responsibly. All right, let's take a look at how the schedule can be used to our advantage. What are the hacks that we can do over the next little bit of time to get more games in for fantasy basketball, which in some of your leagues is the name of the game? What do the back-to-backs look like? Well, heading into Wednesday, playing on Tuesday, is the Warriors and the Blazers. So we've got Al Horford, we expect to play Tuesday, sit Wednesday. Drew Holiday is doubtful Tuesday. Given it's a calf strain, I don't think that he plays on Wednesday. So we've got to watch those ones. I don't think there'll be a concern with Shaedon Sharpe, but he had his own calf injury earlier this season that we just need to watch. And then there is the Wednesday to Thursday back-to-backs. We already know that Paul George is out on Wednesday. We know that Joel Embiid is doubtful on Wednesday, meaning he might not play Thursday either, but George will play Thursday. Then there's the Kings, who have already ruled Domantas Sabonis out for Wednesday with knee soreness. But they're the two teams on the back-to-back. So you might be able to get, if you're trying to double up stuff, you already know in Philadelphia, like Quentin Grimes there, obviously with the back-to-back and Paul George out, one of those. Andre Drummond's already got great value. But maybe you go to a Justin Edwards. Maybe Dom Barlow with Paul George out actually has really good value, but his value dips in the next one. And then the Kings like Eubanks, Achua, at least you get one decent game out of them, and then whatever you follow up with in the next one. And Eubanks, I feel, at least will stick in the rotation. Achua, I'm not certain about. What if you want to go a little bit longer? What if you want to get chunky? What if you need some extra volume, some extra girth in your streams? These guys over the next 5 days, all streamable days, by the way, play 3 games. I've got Daniel Gafford up the top there. Now, you know that I don't think that Gafford is a particularly useful guy if everything made sense. But it doesn't make sense. Anthony Davis is out. Dereck Lively, continues to be hurt and is struggling and is on a minutes limit. Gafford had the ankle sprain, again, for the millionth time. He'll probably go to the locker room every game here. But I expect, even though there is a back-to-back, that Gafford plays 3 games in 5 nights. Davis will not play, and Lively will play only 2 of them. So Gafford has good value here. Andre Drummond. Yeah, Embiid maybe comes back. Maybe. But I also doubt that. And even if he does, Drummond will still get backup minutes. 3 games, 5 nights is enough. I don't love Colin Sexton long term, but 3 games in 5 nights makes sense, especially if LaMelo is going to miss one of them. The Hong Kong matchups, Casey Wallace. Also, not the biggest fan long term of him, but it doesn't matter because we're talking about the short term here. Wiggins out again. And in Denver, Peyton Watson got big minutes. He started in place of Christian Brown. He didn't do much in the offensive part of the game, but the defensive stuff was there. And if you can get 3 games in 5 nights from a 30-minute-a-night player, even if he pops off just once offensively, you got the baseline of defensive stuff that he brings as well as the baseline in minutes. If we extend it out a little bit further, Josh extended out further Lloyd. Looking at the next 7 days, is there anyone that plays 5 games? No, there's not. But there is 4 teams who have incredibly small portfolios of games. The Boston Celtics, the Detroit Pistons, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the San Antonio Spurs, which, by the way, if you've got Wemby or you've got Castle and they're out for 2 weeks, you're pretty happy. There's only 2 games in the next 7 nights because it means you're not missing that much. So when you're considering, what do I do with Denise Jenkins? What do I do with Paul Reed? What do I do with Javonte Green? What do I do with Jordan Walsh? What do I do with Josh Minart? What do I do with Marcus Smart? What do I do with the Npitsu, Rui Hachimura? I tell you what I find interesting and funny, which is, again, this is just more of a quirky thing, right? Is that I can play the Npitsu sound for Rui Hachimura. Someone left a comment yesterday, goes, oh man, go back to the original Npitsu sound. And I go, what? I don't know what that means because I created both of those sounds literally on the same day and play them both interchangeably. So I don't know which one that is, but it's more just like a perception. Someone thinks one of them is an original and one of them was a late one because they don't catch every little instance of it. So for that guy, I don't know which one you mean, so I'll just play both. I don't know which one is, because I labeled this one Npitsu 1 and the other one Npitsu 2, but I made them both at the same time. So I'm not really sure which one is the original. But again, that's more just a perception thing that I find, and no one else probably finds, interesting. So we'll see what the Npitsu can do. And then with San Antonio, I think that having Luke Cornett, even with 2 games, makes a lot of sense. You just hold on to him, but it lessens the, what do we do with Kelly Olynyk or Keldon Johnson or Jeremy Sohan or Harrison Barnes or whatever, right? That's where we get like a little 2 games, 7 nights. Not sure that the value is necessarily going to be as worth it there. We will come back though, and the worth it part of this show will be me telling you the streams of the day. I hope. Today's episode though, it is brought to you by Rippling. Yeah, if you're a business owner, here is the truth. SaaS. It promised to make work easier. But now, the average company is buried by hundreds of apps that slow down your teams and simply don't work together. That is not SaaS. That is SAD. Software as a disservice. And that is why you need Rippling. Rippling is the unified platform for global HR, payroll, IT, and finance all in one place. Think of it as that meme of those guys in LA holding up the red and the blue Crips and Bloods flags together, right? Joining forces. That's what Rippling does. They unify things together, puts it all in one place, helping millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. It's simple to use. It's easy to put everything from onboarding to payroll to IT access. It runs automatically and perfectly in sync. And right now, you get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com/lockedonnba. Learn more at rippling.com/lockedonnba. That is rippling.com/lockedonnba for 6 months free. So here we are, ready to talk about streaming. The best streaming options that possibly exist anywhere in the world is something that I've been told. It's probably false, but you never know. So what are the streams of the day? Who are the streams of the day? Let's start with a 10-teamer. Let's start with the big fella, Juice McBride. There's no Brunson. There's no Anunoby. Now, somehow, McBride played 39 minutes last game, scored 20 points and had no assists whatsoever as the alleged starting point guard. Now, usually he will at least get you a couple, but what you like is the fact that they pump those minutes in. I still don't think that he's particularly valuable. I don't think that he's absolutely a must roster guy, but with Anunoby out, it boosts further, and the opportunity is solid. For a 12-teamer, I am reluctant to say this, but Isaiah Jackson played well. I'm not reluctant to say that. He did play well. He actually got a block, and he had a double-double. More importantly, he started over Tony Bradley and played 26 minutes. Now, I think we've done this dance 3 times already, of Jackson starting, going to the bench, starting, go to the bench, starting on the bench. Or maybe we're in the last one of those, we're just the third start here. So who knows if he goes to the bench. But for now, given he's got ability, and the minutes are up, we stream it and we try it. But my long-term confidence is pretty low. Landry Shamet for 14-teamers. He's going to start in place of Anunoby. He's going to take shots. Now, last game, he shot 18%, I believe. But let's put that at 45, and the game actually turns out all right. Now, he doesn't really do anything else. He might get the occasional 3 assists and 1 steal, but it's just going to be like, maybe you get 20 points with 6 threes. Maybe you get 12 points with 3 threes. But there's something there. And then for deeper leagues, James Christian Middleton. His minutes are up in the last game. Now, I don't have any level of confidence in him staying healthy or even being productive every game. But in a deeper league, he's a starter. So consider him. For your Yahoo points and your ESPN points, there's no Boner. There's no Embiid. So it's Andre Drummond for both Yahoo and ESPN points. Relatively simple. He just is a must roster until he's not. And we'll make that determination when it comes. I wouldn't even drop him when you hear that Embiid is playing. I just want to see what happens first. What about your 10-team list? Well, of course, it starts with McBride, and there's Isaiah Jackson on there. Peyton Watson's there also. We hope that Watson could do something a little bit more offensively, but the defensive stats and the minutes are useful. Jordan Clarkson is also on the list. He can score. He can get free throws. He can get assists. He won't always. But given who's out, given Mike Brown's reluctance to play Tyler Kolek or Paco Mdadier or Mohamed Diawara or Ariel Hukporti or whoever else they've got at the back end of that roster, like they're just going to lean heavily into the guys that he somewhat trusts. And that means that Landry Shamet is also on this list. So there's 3 Knicks there. Replacing Anunoby and Brunson, it's McBride, Clarkson, Shamet. I would probably have them in that order, although you could put Shamet ahead of Clarkson if you wanted to. But it's, all of them have their own level of appeal. For a 12-team grouping, start with that other list, then move to this one. Middleton, Steve Adams, Keon Ellis, who I just don't know. Because he started last game and played 15 minutes. Sick. He could play 0. He could play 27. I could put him on the 10-team list. I've got him in a 12-team league. I think 2. And I'm holding because I just don't get it. But we'll see. I got Lonzo Ball there. No Garland, no Tyson. Lonzo's minutes are up. Assists, steals, some rebounds. Okay, let's go. And then, again, because I'm an idiot, I'm going to say, do you maybe try the national title, Jarris Walker? Hello. Mainly because he might play 28 minutes. And maybe, for one game, maybe he hits 40% of his shots. He could get you 4 assists with a steal and a block and 5 rebounds, and that might be enough. But it's always bloody risky. And the only reason I even consider him is this, there are some minutes there. For deeper leagues and categories, Bruce Brown was absolutely putrid in the last game, but I don't expect he's going to be that bad. Lou Dort actually had a good game last time out, but he's hard to trust. Sticks, Jalen Smith has been awesome. He's been a top 100 player over the last 2 weeks because he's better than Vooch. Or is he? Well, he's been playing better than Vooch. But at the moment, Zach Collins is out, so Smith is actually playing pretty well. Ben Shepherd, much like Jarris Walker, this guy is bad. He is bad. But in a deep league, someone playing 28 minutes who occasionally might get double digits in scoring. And then Mike Conley, whose path to minutes is not particularly high, but even getting a steal, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, 8 points. In a deep league, there is some appeal in that. For points leagues, all of these guys are at least 70% rostered. 70% available. Andre Drummond, Daniel Gafford, Miles McBride, Isaiah Jackson, and Jordan Clarkson. All of them with solid value for Wednesday. And Drummond, probably Gafford, are must roster guys. For now, McBride maybe, Jackson maybe, Clarkson probably more on that outside list. And then for ESPN, Gafford doesn't qualify on ESPN because he was ranked, I think it's 60 in their preseason rankings. So therefore he was drafted onto a lot of teams. So he's not as available on waiver wires. But I've got Andre Drummond there, Juice McBride, Isaiah Jackson, the Hong Kong mattress Cason Wallace, and Peyton Watson as stream options for the games on Wednesday, where there are 9 of them. I'll be back later on today with a recap show of Tuesday's action, so stick around for that. And the best way to stick around, of course, is by subscribing. You hit a thumb on the video, you hype it if you're on mobile on the YouTube app, but you also go ahead on the audio side if you're here and listening. And the audio one's interesting because if you're listening, you're probably already subscribed, right? It's more like if you're watching on the video side, there is an audio version that I'd love you to subscribe to as well. Do it on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever. And double bang, and you watch the video, then you have the audio in case you're out mowing the lawn, driving in the car. Perfect time for it. Do that too. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.